What's up, guys? Today I'm in the 2022 Bronco Sport, thanks to Dowling Ford here in Cheshire, Connecticut. Be sure to come check them out for your Ford needs here in central Connecticut. If you are an outdoorsy or rugged type of person, or you just like to tell people you are, this is probably one you should consider. We're in the second year of this one here. As always, we're going to look at the outside and talk about the trim levels, the options, and take it for a drive. As you can see, I'm already driving around because it's a bit windy outside. I'm going to do most of the talking from in here today. For this second year of the Ford Bronco Sport, we've got some familiar trim levels. We've got a base, a big bend, an outer banks, and a badlands, and those range from about 27,000 at the bottom up to 34,000 at the top. This one is the outer banks. We're starting just over 33,000 in this one, but it might not necessarily make sense to jump from that 33,000 to the 34,000 in the Badlands, and we'll talk about why here as we go. You'll notice we did drop the first edition. If you're familiar with last year's trim, this is the second year, so there's no first edition anymore. Looking around the exterior of this, again, we got this nice big boxy shape. We're only about 172 inches long in this one, but there's still space for days, as we'll see as we go here. Wheelbase around 105 inches. We're sitting on these big 18s in this trim level in the Outer Banks trim. In the other trims, you are on 17s standard. The mirrors black no matter what. You do get heated mirrors in the top two trims though, and we do have blind spot monitoring standard no matter what. Up top, black roof on the top two trims. Got these rails, those are standard no matter what trim level, but you do get you can option cross rails if you'd like. Top around to the front, LED headlights here, standard no matter what trim you're in. Do get the signature LEDs though in the top two trims, so that's what these are here. These fog lights here down here are only in the top two trim levels. Look at the Bronco badge here. This is a different color, a little bit different in every trim level. So this one here, we've got the white with the black. And if we were in the Badlands, that top trim level, you would see some tow hooks up front. Look at the back here, again, big boxy shape. This one does have the Class 2 trailer towing package, so we've got the tow hook up down here. You'll notice we've got a button for glass and a button for door. We can actually open just the glass if you want to have your 2x4s hanging out the back with your red flag on them, or whatever you want to do, or your tents hanging out back there. Under the hatch, we're looking at 32.5 cubic feet of space for days. Drop the seats down, you'll double that. Ford actually says that you can get two 27.5-inch mountain bikes standing up back here, so that's what they were going for, and they'll even give you a kit. You can option a kit to hold those bikes in place. The standard, we do have some tie downs and some carabiners, and we've got an outlet over here in the back. So we've even got a bottle opener back here for easy access when you're camping and difficult access when you're driving, because you should not be drinking and driving. Alright, taking a look in the back seats real quick. Here in the back seats here, we've got 42.5 inches of legroom, space for days. Again, this big boxy kind of shape to it. Front seat is set for me, 41.5 inches of headroom. We've got these nice zipper pockets here in the upper trims. Store your extra stuff. Got outlet down here, as well as some USBs and your venting, standard stuff. We've got the leather trim seats in this one. You do get the easy clean cloth in the upper trim, or in the lower trims you get the regular cloth seats. Up in the front seat here, got the tilting telescoping wheel here, again leather trim seats. We've got, actually I didn't mention in the back, we've got carpeted floors here, but you can get a rubberized floor in that top trim level. We've got your auto headlights, your big 6.5-inch gauge cluster here, nice and simple. Big information in the middle, your tach and your speedo on the left and right. You get the 4.2-inch if you are not in the top two trim levels. Got your infotainment screen here. This one is standard. This is your 8-inch screen no matter what trim level you're in. It is nice and smooth. It is your standard Sync 3. You should be familiar with it if you've been in any other Ford products recently. It does have Android Auto, Apple CarPlay standard. You can get wireless charging in this one as well. If you are in one of the top 2 trims, you can option that, but it's not standard. 8-way power adjustable seats. These are heated in the upper trims. Heated steering wheel as well. That is standard only in this trim. In the top trim, the Badlands trim, you can get a heated steering wheel, but as an option in this one, it is standard. And again, you get the easy clean cloth seats if you're in that top trim. Otherwise, you get the regular cloth seats. This is the only one with the leather standard. Parking brake, your driving modes down here, or GOAT modes as they call it. Hard buttons for your dual climate control. Oh, and we do have this infotainment pumping through a 6-speaker system. You can get a 10-speaker Bang & Olufsen system. That is an option. We do have push button start. We've even got remote start in this one. This push button start comes also with the keyless entry, but that is only available on the upper trims. That is not standard on the base. So taking a look under the hood of this one, we've got the 1.5 liter EcoBoost engine. It's a turbocharged 4-cylinder. We're looking at 181 horsepower, 190 pound-feet of torque. If you're up in the top trim Badlands, then you do get a little bit more power. You get the 2-liter 4-cylinder. That one will give you 250 horsepower and 277 pound-feet of torque. So maybe not just a little, it's actually a lot more power and a lot more torque. And that is mated to an 8-speed automatic no matter what trim level you're in. But if you're in that top trim, you do get some paddle shifters. And fuel economy in this one, we're looking at 25 city, 28 highway, which is actually a lot better than I expected. This thing only weighs about just under 3,500 pounds, which is actually a lot less than I expected. But this 1.5 liter is still certainly peppy enough. And the road noise in here is not too bad, considering this is your kind of rugged off-road car. Most of the time you're not off-road, most of the time you are on paved roads. So you don't want it to be super loud. You could definitely road trip this thing or daily drive it, no problem. We do have our 5 modes on this one. Since this is not the Badlands, that one would give you 2 extra modes for some extra off-roading capabilities. And we do have 4x4 in this one. No matter what, you get the 4x4. You gotta have it. It comes standard across the board. But if you are in the top Badlands trim, then you get the twin clutch system with the rear locking differential, which is actually capable of sending almost all of the rear power to either of the back 2 wheels. So that's pretty good if you're like doing some true off-roading and you lose grip in one of the wheels. We've got front and rear independent suspension in this one, but again in the Badlands you get the true off-roading suspension. So if you're going to do some true off-roading, that one's the one that you want. And we do have adaptive cruise in this. This is your standard adaptive cruise, but again in the Badlands you get a special kind of adaptive cruise. It is called trail control. It's like a low-speed adaptive cruise for the trail. It'll handle your throttle and your braking at low speeds up to 20 miles an hour going forward, and actually you can use it in reverse as well, up to 6 miles an hour. But overall on the road here, this thing does really nicely. I mean, it would be nice to have that 2-liter in this one. This one does have more of kind of a comfort feel to it in this Outer Banks trim. And we do have a kind of a high center of gravity. Again, this big boxy shape. It's kind of not super long, but it's pretty tall. I wouldn't autocross it, but it's plenty good on the road here. It's surprisingly quiet. A little bit of roll. Not as bad as you'd expect for something so tall. Because we are nice, big, and boxy, we do have really good visibility all around. These big mirrors. Usually Ford has the little picture-in-picture mirrors there. This one does not have that. Interesting. So like I mentioned at the beginning, you kind of have to decide if you want to spend that extra. It's just under $1,000 to go from the Outer Banks to the Badlands. But it might not be worth it if you're using this as your commuter. If this is your daily driver and you're not going to be off-roading, then this is going to be probably your better one. Just because you have the heated steering wheel, you got the leather seats, you got some creature comforts here. But if you are doing some serious off-roading, I would definitely go up to the Badlands. Get the better suspension, more driving modes, get the differential, and get everything inside, you know, the rubberized floors, you get the easy clean cloth seats. That would definitely be the one to go for. You can just, you know, take everything out, hose it all down, easy peasy. There you go, it's a 2022 Bronco Sport. Thanks again to Dowling Ford for this one. Make sure, if you want me to keep bringing you these vehicles, make sure to go ahead and hit subscribe, share it with your friends, leave a comment below, tell your friends, tell your mom, tell your friend's mom. Let me know what you think of this one while you're shopping against it. You know, I think they're pretty much going directly at cheap at this point for the Bronco Sport and for the full-on Bronco. We've got a pretty decent ride here. Good ride quality, not too loud. Tons and tons of space, pretty comfortable. Much better fuel economy than I expected. And only 33 grand. It's pretty good for a big SUV like this. And that's all for this time. I'll see you next time.